Good evening, my friends. Tonight I want to share with you something that most teachers of this law will never tell you. Not because they wish to withhold it from you, but because they themselves have not discovered it. It is a technique so simple, so profound, so radically different from everything you have been taught, that when you truly grasp it, you will never approach manifestation the same way again. You see, for years, I have taught you about living in the end. I have told you to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to sleep in the state of your desire realized. And this is true. This is the foundation. This works. But tonight I want to reveal to you something that goes even deeper. Something that penetrates consciousness in a way that future imagining cannot. I call it the technique of the thankful past. Let me show you what most of you are doing wrong. Even when you think you are doing everything right. When you desire something, where do you place it in your mind? You project it into the future. When I have money, I will be happy. When I meet my love, I will be fulfilled. When my business succeeds, I will be grateful. When my body heals, I will be at peace. You see what you are doing? You see the trap you have fallen into? You are perpetually pushing your desire away from you. You are placing it in a time that never comes. Tomorrow never arrives, my friends. Tomorrow is always one day away. There is only ever now, only this eternal present moment. And yet you keep throwing your desires into an imaginary future. And then you wonder why they never manifest. They never manifest because you have placed them in a dimension that does not exist. The future is not real. It is a concept, a mental construct, a phantom. Only now is real. Only now has creative power. But here is what they do not want you to know. Here is the secret that will transform everything. Here is the key that unlocks a door most people do not even know exists. Your imagination responds most powerfully not to future desire, but to past fulfillment. Let me say that again, because this is the hinge upon which everything turns. Your subconscious mind, which is God in you, which is the creative power that produces your world, responds with magnificent, overwhelming, irresistible power when you remember your desire as something that has already happened. Think about this carefully. When you imagine something in the future, what is present in your consciousness, there is always a subtle tension. There is waiting. There is hoping. There is trying. There is the gap between here and there, between now and then, between who you are and who you will be. There is separation. There is time. There is distance. But when you remember something from the past, everything changes. When you recall a memory, there is a certainty, a completeness, a naturalness that requires no effort at all. There is no trying. There is no hoping. There is no waiting. It simply is. It is done. It is finished. It is behind you. Think about your most cherished memory right now. Perhaps a moment of joy from your childhood. Perhaps a triumph you experienced years ago. Perhaps a moment of love that is now gone but lives forever in your heart. When you recall it, do you have to try to believe it happened? Do you have to convince yourself it was real? Do you have to work to feel it? Of course not. It carries its own authority. It is simply done, complete, unquestionable. This is the secret, and it is so simple that the complicated mind dismisses it. This is what I want you to understand tonight. Imagine your desire not as something that will be, but as something that was. Let me take you deeper into why this works, into the mechanics of consciousness that make this technique so extraordinarily powerful. Your subconscious mind, which is the creator of your reality, does not think in future tense. It does not respond to I will be, or I am going to, or someday I shall. These are the languages of doubt, of separation, of powerlessness. These are the words of someone who does not have, who is waiting, who is hoping, but your subconscious responds instantly, completely, totally to I am, and even more powerfully to I was. Why? Because I am is present possession, and I was is completed action. Both are facts in consciousness. Both are declarations of what is, not what might be. When you say I will be wealthy, you are affirming that you are not wealthy now. When you say I am wealthy, you are claiming it in this moment. But when you say I became wealthy 3 months ago, you are doing something even more profound. You are placing your desire in the category of accomplished fact. You are remembering it. And memory is the most powerful form of imagination. Listen to me carefully. What is memory? Memory is imagination of the past. What is imagination? Imagination is memory of the future. They are the same faculty, the same power, operating in different directions in time. But here is the secret. The past feels more real than the future because it has the seal of completion upon it. Now let me give you the technique itself. The exact method you will use tonight and every night until your desire hardens into fact. Suppose you desire wealth. Most of you would imagine yourselves in the future, surrounded by abundance, and you would try to feel wealthy. And yes, this can work. I have taught this for years, and it works. But how much more powerful would it be to sit quietly tonight, close your eyes, and construct a memory, a false memory, if you will, of the day you became wealthy. Not tomorrow, not next week, not in some vague future, but that day in the past when it happened, the day that has already passed, the day you can remember. Imagine yourself 3 months ago, or 1 month ago, or even just 2 weeks ago. Whatever feels most natural to you, see yourself opening that letter, receiving that phone call, signing those documents, having that conversation, experiencing that moment when everything changed. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude, the shock, the excitement you felt on that day. Not tomorrow, that day that has already passed. That day that is now behind you, that day you can remember. Create the memory so vividly, so completely, so real that it feels as though it actually occurred. See the room you were in. Feel the temperature, hear the sounds. Notice what you were wearing. Who else was there? What time of day was it? Make it specific. Make it detailed. Make it real. Tell yourself and feel the truth of these words as you say them. I remember when it happened. I remember how surprised I was. I remember the moment I realized everything had changed. I remember calling my friend to share the news. I remember that feeling of relief, that sense of knowing I would never have to worry about this again. Do you see the difference now? Do you feel how different this is? You are not hoping it will happen. You are not even believing it is happening now. You are remembering that it happened, and memory carries a conviction that imagination of the future can rarely achieve. Now let me explain why this technique is so extraordinarily effective, why it penetrates consciousness in a way that nothing else quite does. When you create a memory of your wish fulfilled, when you remember backwards from the present moment to that imaginary point in the past, when your desire was realized, you do something magical, something mystical, something that changes the very structure of your consciousness. You collapse time itself. You see, when you imagine something in the future, you are placing it at a distance. There is space between you and it. There is time between you and it. You are here, it is there. And as long as there is distance, there is separation. And as long as there is separation, there is effort. And effort implies lack. But when you remember something, when you place it in the past, there is no distance. It is not separated from you by time. It is behind you. It is done. It is finished. You are standing in the present as one who has already received, one who has already experienced, one who has already been transformed by this event. Can you feel the difference? When your desire is in the future, you are waiting for it to arrive. But when your desire is in the past, it has already arrived. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are no longer striving. You are resting. You are grateful. You are complete. The universe, you see, and this may shock you, does not distinguish between a memory that occurred in what you call objective reality and a memory you have constructed in imagination. To your subconscious mind, to God in you, they are equally real. Both are imagined. Both are consciousness. Both are creative. Let me say something that may sound radical, but is absolutely true. Every reality you have ever experienced began as imagination. There is no difference, none whatsoever, between what you call real memories and imagined ones, except the order in which they occurred. What you imagine first becomes what you remember later. Think about that. Every memory you have of yesterday was once imagination. Before yesterday happened, it was imagination. Then it became experience. Then it became memory. But it was always imagination first. So why not reverse it? Why not remember first, and let the objective reality catch up with your memory? Why not imagine backwards instead of forwards? This is not deception, my friends. This is not fantasy or denial of reality. This is creation. This is how God creates. This is how you as God create. By imagining and declaring it is finished. Not it will be finished. Not it is being finished, but it is finished. Done, complete, already accomplished. Now let me give you the exact, specific, practical technique that you will use starting tonight. Before you sleep, choose your desire. It can be anything: wealth, love, health, success, reconciliation, healing, opportunity, anything at all. But choose one thing and be specific. Know exactly what you want. Now, instead of imagining it in the future, I want you to construct a scene that implies it has already happened. But here is the key. Place this scene in your recent past. Imagine yourself 1 week ago, or 1 month ago, or 3 months ago, whatever feels natural to you, whatever your mind can accept most easily, and see yourself in a moment that implies your wish has already been fulfilled. Perhaps you are talking to a friend on the phone and saying, "I am so grateful it worked out. I can hardly believe how perfectly it all came together. I was so worried, but now I see there was never anything to worry about." Or perhaps you are looking at your bank statement from last month and smiling at the balance, thinking, "I remember when I used to check this with fear. Now I check it with joy." Or perhaps you are lying in bed beside your beloved thinking, "I remember when I used to sleep alone. I remember how much I longed for this. That feels like another lifetime now." Or perhaps you are looking in the mirror, seeing your healthy body, thinking, "I remember the day I got the test results. I remember calling my mother to tell her. I remember how I cried with relief." Create this memory with all your senses. Make it detailed, vivid, real. See the scene. Hear the sounds. Feel the emotions. Smell the air. Taste the moment. Engage every sense. And here is the crucial part, the element that makes this technique transcend all others. Feel the relief of it being behind you. Feel the gratitude that it has already occurred. Feel the freedom of no longer needing to wait or hope or try, because it is done, finished, complete. It is history. It is your past. This feeling, this sensation of relief, of completion, of grateful remembrance, this is what impresses your subconscious most deeply. This is what tells your creative power. This is real. This has happened. This is done. Now, I want to give you one more key. One more element that will make this technique even more powerful, even more penetrating, even more effective. Gratitude. But not the gratitude you think. Not the gratitude of someone who is hoping for something. Not the gratitude you practice to attract something. Not future gratitude. Past gratitude. When you remember your desire as already fulfilled, let gratitude fill your heart. But feel the specific quality of this gratitude. It is the gratitude of someone who has received. The gratitude of someone for whom the struggle is over. The gratitude of looking back at a problem that is now solved, a need that is now met, a desire that is now fulfilled. Say to yourself, and mean it, feel it, "I am so grateful that happened when it did. The timing was perfect. I am so glad I do not have to worry about that anymore. I am so thankful it worked out exactly as it did." Do you hear the past tense in those words? Do you feel the completion? This is not "I will be grateful when." This is not "I am grateful in advance for." This is "I am grateful that it happened." Past, complete, done. Gratitude in the past tense is one of the most powerful vibrations you can emit. It tells your subconscious mind with absolute clarity, "This is done. This is complete. I have received. The matter is settled." And your faithful subconscious, which only knows to say yes to your assumptions, which only knows to create what you believe, will work day and night in ways you cannot imagine to make your outer world match your inner conviction. It will orchestrate circumstances. It will arrange events. It will bring people into your life. It will open doors you did not know existed. It will create opportunities that seem to come from nowhere, all to prove right what you have assumed, all to make objective what you have imagined. My friends, I want you to understand something at the deepest level. You are not manipulating some external force. You are not trying to convince a deity somewhere in the sky to grant you a favor. You are not begging. You are not bargaining. You are not trying to be good enough or worthy enough. You are God imagining. And God does not imagine in the future. God imagines, and it is. When God said, "Let there be light," did he mean let there be light tomorrow? Did he mean let there be light next week? Did he mean I hope there will be light someday? No. Let there be light means light exists now because it has been imagined. It is immediate. It is present. It is done. This is how you must imagine. Not as a human, hoping God will answer, but as God, knowing that what you imagine is. And here is the secret within the secret. When you remember something, when you place it in the past, you are assuming it even more powerfully than when you imagine it in the present, because the past is completed. The past is done. The past cannot be changed, you think. But you are wrong. The past can be changed in imagination. And when you change the past in imagination, you change everything. So tonight I invite you to stop. Stop projecting your desires into an endless tomorrow. Stop waiting for some future moment when you will finally be happy, finally be fulfilled, finally be free, finally have what you want. Instead, remember it. Remember the day it happened, how it felt. Remember the relief, the joy, the gratitude, the peace. Remember that you no longer have to wait because it is already done. Remember that you no longer have to hope because you have already received. Remember that you no longer have to try because it has already happened. You are not manifesting from the future backward. You are manifesting from the past forward. And in doing so, you eliminate the one thing that destroys more manifestations than anything else in the world. The feeling of waiting, of separation, of time standing between you and your desire. There is no time. This is the great secret. There is only now. And in the now, you can remember anything you choose. The past is as fluid as the future. Both are imagination, both are consciousness, both are creative. So choose to remember your desire fulfilled. Choose to remember it as something that already happened. Choose to place it behind you rather than in front of you. Choose to be grateful for what has already occurred, rather than hopeful for what might occur. This is not a trick. This is not a technique in the ordinary sense. This is a shift in consciousness. This is a transformation in how you relate to time itself. This is stepping into the eternal now where all things already are. Go now and test this. Tonight before sleep, construct your memory. Make it vivid. Make it real. Make it detailed. Feel it. Return to it daily. Elaborate it. Live in it. And in a very short time, perhaps shorter than you imagine, perhaps shorter than seems possible, you will find that what you remembered in imagination has become what you remember in fact. The memory you created will have created the experience. The past you imagined will have become the past you lived. And you will stand in wonder knowing that you have discovered one of the deepest secrets of creation. This is the law. This is the promise. And it cannot fail. It has never failed. It will never fail, because it is not dependent on anything outside of you. It is dependent only on your imagination. And your imagination is God. And God cannot fail. Remember your wish fulfilled. Do this and all else will follow. Thank you and good evening. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures, and I will see you in the next video. There is a silent current moving through your life, unseen, yet undeniably real. Everything around you, every circumstance, every person, every challenge is quietly shifting in your favor. You may not see it yet, but the tide is turning, and it is moving toward your victory. The first truth to understand is that your reality begins in your imagination. Whatever you hold in your mind with conviction and feeling begins to shape the world around you. When you assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, your life bends to reflect that inner certainty. Do not underestimate the power of your mind. It is not merely a tool, it is the forge of your reality. Even when the external world seems stagnant, know this: the invisible shift is already happening. Forces beyond your perception are arranging events and people to bring about what you desire. The universe does not work with hesitation. It moves quietly, methodically, always toward the realization of what your heart has imagined. Trust the process, even when you cannot yet see it. But belief alone is not enough. You must persist in the feeling of your fulfilled desire. Do not let doubts creep in. Do not allow impatience to cloud your vision. Every moment you maintain the inner certainty, you are creating an irresistible momentum that life must reflect. Persistence is the key. The world cannot deny the conviction of a determined heart. Release all resistance. The moment you let go of fear, worry, and frustration, the flow of life moves unhindered toward you. Struggle is unnecessary. It only delays what is already destined for you. Surrender to the natural unfolding and allow miracles to happen with ease. Imagination is your creative power. Live in the end of your desire. See it, feel it, embrace it, as though it is already yours. By immersing yourself in this inner reality, you invite the physical world to follow. Every reality begins as a mental picture. Every success begins as an imagined certainty. Trust the timing of life. What seems delayed is not denial, it is preparation. Everything is being orchestrated with perfect precision to bring your desires in the most favorable way. There is divine timing at work, and it always works in your favor. So hold fast. Do not give up. Every unseen shift, every hidden movement, every quiet alignment is leading you toward your breakthrough. Everything is shifting in your favor. Trust it, believe it, feel it, and watch the impossible become inevitable. Your reality begins not in the world around you, but in the silent creative depths of your imagination. Everything you see, experience, and encounter in your life is a reflection of the beliefs you hold within. The moment you realize that your outer world is a mirror of your inner state, you step into a place of power, for the world does not create you. You create the world by the assumptions you persist in. This is a secret that many overlook. Life does not respond to your complaints, your fears, or even your wishes without feeling. It responds to the living, vibrant conviction that you hold in your mind and heart. When you assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, when you live as though what you seek has already been accomplished, life itself begins to rearrange. People, circumstances, and opportunities align in ways that seem miraculous. Yet they are the natural consequence of your inner state. It is not enough to merely hope or wish for change. Hope is weak, fleeting, and uncertain, and the outer world senses this uncertainty. Your imagination, however, is powerful and tangible. By imagining vividly, by entering the state where your desire is already realized, you send a signal to the universe that your fulfillment is inevitable. It is not a distant possibility, it is a present reality, experienced first in the inner world before manifesting in the physical. When you carry this assumption consistently, it impresses itself upon your consciousness so deeply that your actions, decisions, and reactions begin to align with that reality. You start to notice opportunities that were invisible before. You begin to meet people who serve as instruments of your vision. Life unfolds in a way that confirms your inner assumption. Your imagination is the divine tool through which you mold your reality. To exercise this power, you must enter the end state of your desire. Feel it in your body, in your heart, and in your mind. See yourself living the life you want, not someday, but now. Sense the emotions of fulfillment, gratitude, and joy as if they are already yours. This feeling is the signal that transforms mere thought into creation. The universe moves to match the frequency of your inner state. Resistance, doubt, and negativity will try to interrupt this process, but persistence and faith are your allies. The more you dwell in the assumption of your fulfilled desire, the stronger and more undeniable the impression becomes. Understand that the outer world is never separate from you. Every event, every encounter, every circumstance is a reflection of what you carry inside. If your imagination is strong, clear, and unwavering, the world will reflect that strength back to you. If your inner state is uncertain or fearful, life will mirror that uncertainty. This is the essence of creation. You do not chase reality, you embody it. By assuming the feeling of your desire fulfilled, you take the first step in reshaping everything around you. Life reorganizes itself in response, and what once seemed impossible becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Even when everything around you appears still, when life seems to stall and circumstances seem unmoving, an invisible current is flowing beneath the surface, quietly rearranging reality in your favor. Most people judge the world by what they see with their eyes, forgetting that the visible world is always preceded by the invisible. What appears as delay or stagnation is not failure. It is the hidden preparation for your desire to manifest. The universe is always working, always moving, always aligning events, opportunities, and people, even when you cannot yet perceive it. This unseen shift is subtle, delicate, and profound, and it is entirely in your favor. The moment you understand that the physical world is a reflection of the invisible, you will no longer be shaken by what seems like inaction. The unseen forces are already at work. They move in perfect harmony with your inner assumption, rearranging circumstances in ways that often appear miraculous. These forces do not operate randomly. They respond to the frequency of your consciousness. Every belief, every feeling, every thought you hold is a vibration that communicates to the universe what reality you wish to inhabit. When you persist in the assumption of your desire fulfilled, unseen arrangements begin to take shape. Doors open before you, connections are made, and opportunities present themselves naturally. You may not see the mechanism, and you may not feel the shift immediately, but it is happening. Trust in the quiet, because what is invisible is always more powerful than what is visible. It is essential to understand that the shift always precedes the manifestation. Life does not simply hand you your desires in a moment of need. It first aligns the circumstances, the people, and the events to make that desire inevitable. Just as a seed must first develop roots beneath the soil before it sprouts into the sunlight, your dream must first take form in the invisible realm before it appears in the world of matter. To panic, to doubt, or to rush the process is to resist the very natural order that is working for you. Patience is not passivity, it is trust in the creative law that governs reality. The more you can internalize this truth, the less power the outer world has to disturb your inner peace. Circumstances are never final, they are temporary indicators that the unseen is still aligning. Even when setbacks appear, they are often part of a larger orchestration, positioning you for the most favorable outcome. You are not witnessing delay, you are witnessing preparation. Your task is not to force results, but to remain steadfast in the inner vision, to continue assuming the state of fulfillment, and to carry the feeling of the end as your present reality. Know that this invisible shift is relentless, precise, and inevitable. Your desire is already on its way to you. The universe is not late. It is perfectly timed. The unseen forces are constantly at work, molding the circumstances so that when the manifestation appears, it does so effortlessly and completely. Your only requirement is to trust, to persist, and to hold unwavering faith in the unseen process. What is invisible now will soon be visible, and everything that is shifting in your favor will emerge as proof of the power of belief, patience, and alignment with the creative law. The power of your desire is not measured by how loudly you declare it or by the force with which you wish for it. It is measured by the persistence of the feeling you carry within. It is easy to become distracted by appearances, by circumstances that seem to contradict your dreams, or by voices, both external and internal, that whisper doubt. Yet true manifestation does not depend on the external world. It depends entirely on your inner state. The moment you persist in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, living as though it is already yours, you set into motion an inevitability that the outer world cannot resist. This is the secret that transforms dreams into reality. The continuity of feeling, the unwavering assumption that your desire exists now. To persist in feeling means to occupy your inner world with the end result, without hesitation, without interruption, and without compromise. Do not allow fleeting doubts or momentary disappointments to break the continuity of your assumption. Life will constantly challenge you. It will present obstacles, delays, and contradictions. These are not signs that your desire is failing. They are tests of your persistence. Every time you return to the feeling of your fulfilled desire, every time you re-enter the state of its already having been accomplished, you reinforce the vibration that must eventually be reflected in your external world. Continuity is the bridge between imagination and reality, between thought and matter. And matter, the outer world cannot reflect what your inner state does not first hold. People, circumstances, and events are drawn to the frequency you maintain. When your inner state is consistent, when your feeling of fulfillment is steady and unwavering, life aligns to mirror it. The more you persist in feeling, the more inevitable your manifestation becomes. Even when the world appears contrary, persistence creates a gravitational pull that cannot be denied. What seems like opposition is merely the outer world waiting to catch up with the state of consciousness you have assumed. Persistence is also an act of faith. It is faith not in what you see, but in what you imagine. It is the belief that what you have assumed as true in your inner world will inevitably appear in your outer world. This faith is not passive. It is active, vibrant, and alive. Every thought, every feeling, every moment spent in the inner reality of fulfillment strengthens the invisible threads that bind your desire to its manifestation. Impatience, worry, or distraction weakens these threads, while steadfast feeling reinforces them until the external world must conform. Understand that persistence is not measured in days or months, it is measured in consistency of state. It is the unbroken commitment to live in the end, to feel the reality of your desire now, to ignore appearances, and to hold unwavering conviction. When you persist, life cannot help but yield. The outer world has no choice but to reflect the state you have assumed. Your desire moves from imagination to inevitability, from thought to experience, from invisible assumption to visible manifestation. Continuity of feeling is the law through which the impossible becomes inevitable, and the dreams you hold most dear become your living reality. Resistance is the invisible barrier that prevents your desires from manifesting. It is the tension created by doubt, fear, and impatience, the inner struggle against the natural flow of life. When you wrestle with circumstances, when you fight against what seems to be, you only strengthen the very obstacle you wish to overcome. The universe responds not to struggle, but to the state of mind you maintain. Every moment you resist, every thought of worry or fear acts like a block, slowing the movement of your desire from imagination into reality. It is not the world that delays your fulfillment. It is your resistance that interrupts the seamless flow of life that is already working in your favor. To release resistance is to surrender, to trust, and to allow the natural unfolding of events to carry you toward your desire. Surrender does not mean inaction or passivity, it means alignment. It means maintaining your inner assumption of the fulfilled desire while letting go of struggle. When you no longer oppose the present moment, when you cease to fret over how or when your desire will manifest, you create space for the invisible currents of life to bring your vision into form. This is the paradox of creation. By releasing struggle, you gain control. By surrendering, you command the manifestation of your desire. Fear is one of the most common forms of resistance. It whispers that what you want is impossible, that you are not worthy, or that circumstances are against you. Doubt, likewise, undermines your inner conviction, tempting you to look to the outer world for proof. Impatience rushes you to act before the invisible forces are fully aligned. All of these are signs that you are operating from a place of resistance rather than trust. The solution is simple but profound. Return continually to the inner state of peace, assurance, and certainty. Let the feeling of your desire fulfilled dominate your consciousness. Live as if the end has already come, and allow life to orchestrate the details. Understand that the universe is always working, always arranging, always moving to fulfill your desire. The unseen is precise, and the natural order is perfect. When you resist, you clash with this order. When you surrender, you align with it. This alignment is effortless. It requires no struggle, no frantic effort, no desperate attempts to control outcomes. All that is required is faith, patience, and the willingness to allow life to bring your desire in its own perfect way. Every delay, every obstacle, every unexpected turn is simply life preparing the optimal conditions for your fulfillment. Only a state of unconditional fulfillment. By releasing resistance, you move from tension to flow, from fear to faith, from struggle to effortless creation. You free yourself to inhabit the reality you have imagined. You understand that the outer world cannot resist the conviction of your inner state. As you surrender, the doors that seemed closed begin to open. The pathways that seemed blocked clear, and the invisible forces align with precision, bringing your desire into manifestation. Everything is already shifting in your favor, and resistance is the only thing that could prevent you from seeing it. Let go, trust the process, and know that life is unfolding exactly as it should, carrying you to the reality your heart has imagined. Every new reality begins in the mind. The world you see around you is not the starting point. It is the reflection of what has already been conceived in consciousness. Imagination is not a mere tool for idle dreaming. It is the creative force, the divine instrument through which life itself is shaped. Whatever you wish to experience, whatever success, joy, or fulfillment you desire, first exists as a mental picture within you. Before a tree grows, before a building is constructed, before any achievement is realized, it begins as a vision, a clear inner representation that precedes all physical manifestation. To ignore the power of imagination is to ignore the very mechanism through which life responds to consciousness. To wield this creative force effectively, you must live in the end. This means inhabiting the state of your desire fulfilled, imagining the result with vivid detail, and most importantly, with deep emotion. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the relief, the excitement, the gratitude of having what you seek. Emotions are the bridge between imagination and reality. They give life to the mental picture and impress it upon the fabric of existence. The universe does not distinguish between imagination and reality. It responds to the feeling and conviction behind the inner picture. The more real it feels to you, the sooner it becomes inevitable in the physical world. Living in the end is not simply visualizing the outcome, it is embodying it. See yourself walking through the day as if your desire has already been fulfilled. Hear the sounds, notice the surroundings, feel the sensations of your new reality. The mind and body must align with the imagined state. This alignment signals to life that your fulfillment is not hypothetical but actual. The more consistently you enter this state, the more the outer world is compelled to mirror it. You are as the sea is calm and mostly clear, you are as the sea is calm and mostly clear. Opportunities, people, and circumstances begin to appear in perfect harmony with the inner reality you hold. What once seemed distant or impossible now becomes natural and inevitable. The creative force of imagination is also timeless. Past failures, current circumstances, or apparent impossibilities have no power over it. When you imagine with conviction, the mental picture exists beyond the constraints of time, calling the future into existence before it appears physically. This is the essence of manifestation. The future is already here in consciousness, and your imagination simply allows it to take form in the material world. By repeatedly dwelling in the end, by reinforcing the mental picture with faith and feeling, you set in motion an invisible current that life must honor. Do not underestimate the simplicity and power of this process. The secret of all creation is imagination. Whatever you vividly assume and persist in feeling as real, life is compelled to bring into existence. Every great achievement, every success story, every transformation in history began with this invisible act of mental creation. By embracing your imagination as the creative force, by living in the end, and by infusing your vision with deep emotion, you become the architect of your own reality. The life you desire is not waiting for permission, it is waiting for your inner assumption to claim it as already yours. Faith in divine timing is the understanding that the universe operates with perfect precision. Even when life appears to move slowly or obstacles seem to delay your desires. What seems like a pause, a setback, or a disappointment is never truly a denial of your wish. It is the meticulous preparation of circumstances, people, and opportunities to ensure that your manifestation arrives in the most favorable way. Life is orchestrated with an intelligence far beyond what the conscious mind can perceive. Every moment, every event, and every interaction is part of a grand design, aligning invisibly to bring your desire to fruition. To have faith in divine timing is to trust that nothing is wasted, nothing is random, and nothing is absent from the unfolding of your life. Delays are often misunderstood as failure, but they are in reality the proof of the universe's perfect planning. If you push too hard, act prematurely, or try to force results, you may disrupt the natural order that is working in your favor. The outer world cannot create what the inner world has not yet fully prepared. And the timing of life ensures that everything falls into place with maximum impact. Faith in divine timing is the recognition that what you desire is already yours in the unseen realm, and that the universe is simply aligning the perfect circumstances to bring it into your physical experience. Patience, therefore, is not passive waiting. It is active trust in the creative law that governs reality. To cultivate this faith, you must let go of anxiety and impatience. Doubts arise when you focus on appearances rather than the invisible truth that your desire exists in the inner world and that the external world will inevitably reflect it. Every moment that seems empty or delayed is a moment in which unseen forces are meticulously arranging everything for your good. This faith transforms waiting from a period of frustration into a period of empowerment. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You are in harmony with the intelligent flow of life. You understand that every delay, every twist, every unexpected turn is perfectly timed to maximize the impact of your fulfillment. Now, if that Mishka stampa saki, you are ready. Now, if that Mishka stands over you, cast a stone. Faith in divine timing also teaches you to remain steadfast in your inner state, regardless of external appearances. Life cannot contradict what has already been assumed in consciousness. Your inner certainty, your assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, is the signal that guides the unseen forces of the universe. The outer world may lag, but it is only catching up with the state you have already established within. The more unwavering your faith, the swifter and smoother the manifestation. This is why patience and persistence are inseparable from the principle of divine timing. Understanding divine timing allows you to move through life with confidence, grace, and peace. You no longer rush, struggle, or despair, because you know that every moment is working for you, arranging the circumstances in the exact way necessary to bring your desire to life. When you trust this timing, you align yourself with the invisible current of creation. You recognize that your desire is already fulfilled in the unseen, and all that remains is for the outer world to reflect it. Faith in divine timing transforms waiting into assurance, doubt into trust, and desire into inevitable reality. ensuring that everything unfolds perfectly in your favor. As we reflect on the truths we have explored today, remember this: everything is already shifting in your favor. Your inner belief shapes the world around you. The unseen forces are quietly rearranging circumstances. And persistence in feeling ensures that what you desire becomes inevitable. By releasing resistance, trusting the process, living in the end through your imagination, and having faith in divine timing, you align yourself with the effortless flow of life. The universe is conspiring on your behalf, orchestrating every detail to bring your dreams into manifestation. Your role is not to struggle or doubt, but to assume, to feel, and to trust, knowing that the reality you envision is already yours. So, do not give up. Stand firm in your vision, persist in your belief, and embrace the invisible currents working tirelessly for your good. Every moment, every event, every encounter is a step closer to the life you have imagined. The shift is happening, the alignment is taking place, and your fulfillment is inevitable. Thank you for opening your heart and mind today, for allowing these words to inspire belief and courage within you. May you move forward with unwavering faith, persistent feeling, and the certainty that life is working for you in ways beyond your imagination. Thank you.
What I'm about to share with you is so simple, it feels wrong. It's so effortless that your mind will rebel against it. Because everything you've been taught about manifestation, all the hard work, the visualizing, the endless affirmations, has been keeping your dreams trapped in an endless loop of almost but not quite. The real breakthrough happens when you do the complete opposite, and it's ridiculously easy. Comment below, I'm ready, if you're tired of chasing your dreams and ready to become the person who already has them. Because what I'm about to share will flip your entire understanding of reality upside down. Everyone teaches you manifestation forward. Visualize, attract, and achieve. Quantum manifestation flips that completely upside down. You don't manifest from desire. You manifest from outcome. Here's how to do it backwards, and watch miracles unfold. You've probably been told countless times. Clearly visualize your goals. See every detail. Feel the emotions as if you already have it. You've heard this advice from countless coaches, teachers, and books. Maybe you've spent hours each day imagining your dream life, picturing your dream job, your ideal partner, financial abundance, or vibrant health. You've likely closed your eyes, repeated affirmations, and tried your hardest to maintain positive feelings. And yet, something still feels off. It seems just out of reach, like you're constantly grasping at shadows. When you visualize something as a future goal, you reinforce the gap between yourself and what you desire. Think about that for a second. Every time you try harder to feel abundant or loved or successful, if deep down you still perceive it as something in the future, you're energetically broadcasting the exact opposite of what you want. You are inadvertently reinforcing your lack, and the quantum field, being a mirror of your dominant frequency, reflects back exactly that: more distance, more waiting, more frustration. This is where quantum manifestation turns the whole process upside down, and why it's infinitely more powerful. And if you think you know where this is going, think again. Quantum manifestation doesn't ask you to pretend something is already true in some vague future. Instead, it starts by placing you directly inside the outcome right here and now. It asks you to shift your state from wanting to already having, to think, feel, and act from the outcome rather than toward it. And here's the crucial distinction. It's not about imagining a future result. It's about experiencing the end state now. Quantum manifestation doesn't operate linearly. It operates backward from the end to the beginning. To make this clearer, let's use an analogy that will blow your mind. Imagine you're watching a movie, but instead of watching it from start to finish, you begin at the final scene. You see the resolution, the happiness, the clarity. With that knowledge of the outcome, Every event leading up to it takes on a different meaning. You don't doubt how things will resolve. You don't question whether the hero will succeed. You already know the ending. Quantum manifestation works exactly the same way. When you start from the outcome, you experience a profound shift in your energetic frequency. Anxiety and urgency dissolve. Doubt fades. Why? Because there's no longer a question of whether something will happen. You're experiencing it as already done. And here's where it gets scientifically fascinating. Quantum physics backs this up. Experiments like the double-slit experiment and studies on retrocausality show us clearly that at the quantum level, past, present, and future are not separate. They coexist as possibilities, and your observation, your state of being, collapses them into reality. The moment you consciously choose to embody your future outcome, you collapse all other possibilities and anchor your desired timeline into your present experience. The quantum field responds to who you are being, not what you want to become. Think of it this way. Desire implies distance. Outcome implies presence. Desire says, I don't have it yet. Outcome says, it's already mine. Desire keeps you in a state of reaching and longing. Outcome puts you in a state of receiving and gratitude. From the quantum perspective, the universe never delivers what you desire, only what you embody. And the strongest way to embody something is to start living from it now, not waiting for external proof. So how do you practically apply this? The answer might surprise you. The key is to stop visualizing your outcome from the outside and instead embody it from the inside. Instead of imagining what it would feel like to get what you want, ask yourself, if this were already true, what thoughts would I think right now? What actions would feel natural and easy? How would my energy shift? Immediately, your internal state adjusts. Your nervous system relaxes. Your perception changes. Your emotional field stabilizes. And perhaps most importantly, your quantum broadcast transforms. You are no longer signaling lack. You're signaling coherence and completeness. You're not chasing. You're aligning. The irony here, and it's a beautiful irony, is that the moment you stop needing your desire to show up, it does. When you become indifferent to the timing, because you're so immersed in the feeling of already having it, manifestation accelerates exponentially. The quantum field doesn't require effort. It requires congruence. The secret lies not in wanting something badly enough, but in no longer needing it, because you're fully occupying the emotional, mental, and energetic space of already having it. This is why quantum manifestation is so powerful and yet so misunderstood. But wait until you hear what separates the effortless manifestors from everyone else. It's backward from everything we've been taught about achieving our dreams. But the moment you get it, the moment you embody it, you realize it's not complicated at all. It's elegant, it's precise, and it's profoundly transformative. Stay with me, because in just a moment, you'll discover exactly how to step into that reversed flow of manifestation, living from the outcome first. And once you do, you'll never want to manifest any other way again. You see, when you use traditional manifestation techniques, you're often instructed to affirm things like, I want abundance, I want success, I want the perfect relationship. Sounds innocent enough, right? But let's take a closer look at the hidden message this sends to the quantum field. Each time you say, I want, you unconsciously affirm a reality in which the thing you desire is missing. You're broadcasting lack. You're energetically confirming to the universe again and again, I don't have it yet. But here's the beautiful paradox that quantum manifestation reveals. The universe is not responding to what you want. It's responding to what you are. If your dominant emotional state is wanting, the quantum field has no choice but to mirror that exact state back to you. It matches your vibration with impeccable accuracy. So if you constantly signal wanting, the universe confirms this state by providing you more situations where you're left wanting, where fulfillment remains just out of reach. Now consider the opposite approach. And this is where everything changes. Imagine shifting your focus entirely from what you lack to what already exists in the quantum field. Because here's the profound truth. Science now fully supports every reality, every outcome, Every dream you could possibly imagine is already encoded as a potential within the quantum field. You're not inventing or creating it from scratch. You're simply aligning with a reality that already exists as a possibility. Let's visualize this with a simple yet profound metaphor that will change how you see everything. Think of the quantum field as an enormous cosmic library. Every single possible version of your life already exists as a complete book on the shelves. You don't need to write the book from page 1. All you need to do is pick the book off the shelf, open it, and start reading, experiencing it fully, feeling it, believing it's real right now. This small yet vital shift in perspective is the difference between years of fruitless effort and instant energetic coherence. When you begin manifesting backward by assuming the outcome already exists, you step into a new energetic frequency. Instead of communicating "I lack," you broadcast "I have," and the quantum field, true to its nature, immediately reflects back that state of being. It's not magic. It's not wishful thinking. It's quantum physics at work. It's a scientifically validated reality. What you hold energetically, you receive experientially. Think about it this way. Manifestation isn't about convincing the universe or earning your desires through effort. It's about recognizing that reality itself is malleable, responsive, and waiting for you to choose your state consciously. The people who manifest effortlessly understand this. They don't chase their desires. They choose their outcomes. They embody the version of themselves that already has what they want. And by doing so, they collapse the quantum wave of possibility into a concrete, tangible reality. This is precisely why effortless manifestors always appear calm, relaxed, and confident. They don't push or force outcomes, because they've internalized one simple truth. Forcing implies doubt. Doubt is resistance, and resistance delays manifestation. True quantum manifestors never try to make things happen. They simply align with the version of themselves where the outcome is inevitable and watch as the universe effortlessly rearranges itself around their coherence. Let this sink in deeply. Your manifestation ability doesn't hinge on your willpower, your hustle, or how clearly you visualize. It depends entirely on your internal alignment with the end state you desire. It relies solely on your ability to stop reinforcing lack and instead stabilize your energy in the vibration of completion. Because when you genuinely assume the outcome, when your emotional state fully matches your chosen reality, the universe has absolutely no choice but to mirror it back. This realization can change your life forever. It means you can finally stop chasing dreams from a place of anxiety, urgency, or desperation. It means you no longer have to struggle to prove your worthiness or push harder to force outcomes. Instead, you get to choose your outcomes, stabilize your alignment, and watch miracles flow effortlessly into your life. And as profound as this understanding is, it's just the beginning. Because next, we're going to dive even deeper into exactly how to shift your identity, your very state of being, so that manifestation becomes as effortless as breathing. You'll see why changing who you're being is infinitely more powerful than changing what you're doing. Ready for the next leap? Let's keep going. First, let's pause for a moment and go deeper into the science behind why backward manifestation isn't just a spiritual concept. It's a quantum reality backed by physics. This isn't merely theory or wishful thinking. It's rooted deeply in the fundamental mechanics of the universe itself. At the quantum level, all potential realities coexist simultaneously. Every version of your life, from the most ordinary to the most extraordinary, already exists as possibilities in the quantum field. You're not creating your future from nothing. You're simply selecting which reality you wish to experience. This subtle yet profound truth can forever change your approach to life. It means you don't have to struggle or strain to bring something into being. Your primary task is much simpler and infinitely more elegant. Align yourself with the reality you desire, and then allow it to unfold naturally. Here's the difference. Traditional, forward-thinking manifestation approaches encourage you to build from scratch, like constructing a building brick by brick. You visualize the goal, make plans, and push forward step by step. While there's nothing inherently wrong with effort, this linear method often reinforces the notion that your desires exist somewhere in the distant future, just out of reach. Energetically, this perpetuates a gap, reinforcing a sense of not yet having. Quantum manifestation reverses this completely. Instead of pushing reality into existence, you become the gravitational center that effortlessly pulls the desired reality toward you. You aren't chasing after an outcome. You're magnetizing a timeline that already exists. This subtle yet pivotal shift is the difference between years of frustrated effort and instant, easeful manifestation. Because in quantum physics, everything boils down to resonance. If your energy consistently broadcasts "not here yet," the field reflects delay. But if you vibrate with certainty, gratitude, and fulfillment, as if your desire is already here, the field has no choice but to match that frequency and collapse reality accordingly. This phenomenon is beautifully illustrated by the well-known quantum principle known as the observer effect. Experiments in quantum physics have shown repeatedly that subatomic particles exist as waves of possibility, probabilities, until they're observed or measured. Only at that moment do these waves collapse into specific, measurable particles. You, as the conscious observer, are performing this exact process continually in your daily life. Your dominant emotional state and focused attention are literally collapsing infinite possibilities into a singular, tangible experience. If you consistently observe from a place of absence or lack, you collapse realities that confirm that absence. However, if you observe from a state of fulfillment, gratitude, and certainty, the quantum field collapses possibilities that confirm your state of having. This is exactly why people who master quantum manifestation often seem effortlessly magnetic. They don't chase after anything. Rather, they anchor into the energetic truth that the reality they desire is already theirs. It's not magic. It's quantum mechanics at play. Every moment, your frequency is selecting potential outcomes from an infinite field. What changes your reality isn't endless effort, but coherence of thought and emotion, alignment, embodiment. Consider this carefully. Your life right now, every circumstance you currently experience, is an accurate reflection of your dominant internal state. The quantum field is impartial and precise. It doesn't judge your wishes as good or bad. It simply mirrors back your consistent emotional frequency. So if you want different external results, your task isn't to strive harder outwardly. It's to shift your inner energetic coherence to reflect your chosen reality as already done. It's a quantum shortcut, collapsing timelines instantly. Think of this process like tuning a radio dial. The station, your desired outcome, already exists. You don't need to create the broadcast. You simply adjust your frequency until your energy matches the signal you want. When you do, the music flows effortlessly. The reception becomes clear, and your life begins to reflect exactly the channel you've tuned into. It's not an act of creation. It's an act of alignment. This understanding fundamentally changes your relationship with manifestation. It frees you from the illusion that you must earn your desires through struggle. It liberates you from the myth that goals must be pursued with relentless urgency. Instead, it places you firmly in your true power, the power of conscious, coherent observation. When you realize your role isn't to force the universe to respond, but rather to clearly, consistently align with the reality you've chosen, the shift is instantaneous. This truth, however, is something most people resist at first because it defies conventional logic. Our entire society is built on the belief that effort equals reward. The quantum reality, however, insists otherwise. Effortless coherence equals resonance, and resonance equals manifestation. The quantum field doesn't respond to effort. It responds to vibration. Right now, you might be thinking, okay, this makes sense, but how do I actually do it? What does quantum manifestation look like in my everyday life? Excellent question. Let's walk through it step by step, making it so practical, so clear, and so simple that you can start seeing shifts immediately, without confusion, effort, or guesswork. The quantum manifestation process can be summarized in 3 clear and powerful steps. Let's unpack each one together, and by the end, you'll have everything you need to transform your reality. Step 1. Clearly choose your desired reality, but as if it already exists. This is the vital foundation, and most people stumble here by visualizing their desires as future scenarios. Instead, begin with absolute clarity on what you desire, not as a potential event, but as something already real, already achieved. Close your eyes and clearly define your desired outcome from the perspective of having already experienced it. If your goal is financial abundance, for example, don't visualize yourself becoming wealthy someday in the future. Imagine clearly the version of you who's already living in abundance right now. Picture the scenes vividly. Feel the satisfaction. Notice the confidence, the ease, the joy of living from abundance already realized. You're not manifesting from a what-if place. You're manifesting from it's already mine. This is the first crucial shift. Step 2. Completely identify with this reality. Here's where it gets profoundly transformative. Shift from wanting to embodying. Instead of saying, I want to be wealthy, internally affirm, I am already wealthy. Don't merely say the words. Feel them resonate deeply in your body. Notice how your posture changes, how your breathing shifts, how tension releases as you accept this reality completely. It's not about pretending or tricking yourself. It's about anchoring yourself in the emotional and energetic truth of that reality. Your body should feel it clearly. The neural pathways in your brain begin to reorganize around this new identity. Your nervous system relaxes into this frequency. You're no longer signaling uncertainty or lack. You're broadcasting the resonance of fulfillment, confidence, and gratitude. Exactly the signals the quantum field responds to most powerfully. Take a moment to do it right now. Choose one clear, specific reality. Feel it deeply. What emotions arise? Gratitude, relief, freedom, satisfaction? Identify these feelings clearly and allow yourself to dwell in them fully. Don't rush. This is where quantum reality is chosen. By embodying the emotional reality first, then watching as physical reality effortlessly aligns. Step 3. Release all control and allow the quantum field to respond. Now, here's the part many people find challenging, but it's also where the real magic happens. Completely let go of controlling how your desired outcome unfolds. Surrender your attachment to specific paths, methods, or timings. The quantum field works best when you leave the door open for infinite possibilities. The how isn't your job. It never was. Your job is solely to maintain coherence and alignment. The quantum field, infinitely intelligent and responsive, orchestrates all details effortlessly. Think of this like planting a seed. You don't dig up the seed every day to see how it's growing. You plant it, nurture the environment, and trust nature's intelligence to bring it into fruition. Your manifestation works exactly the same way. Trusting the field means embracing uncertainty with curiosity and openness instead of anxiety. When you release control, you stop energetically blocking outcomes with your limited expectations. Suddenly, you open the quantum space for synchronicities, unexpected solutions, surprising opportunities, and effortless miracles. Here's a practical daily exercise you can use immediately. Each morning before you get out of bed, clearly feel your chosen reality, not as future potential, but as present fact. Say internally, I'm already living my ideal reality. Feel it in your body. Imagine what your day would look like, what decisions you would naturally make, how interactions would unfold effortlessly if you were already that version of yourself. Do this for just a few minutes. Then release it entirely. Let go and trust completely. Throughout your day, whenever doubt arises, simply remind yourself gently, it's already done. You don't need to force the feeling again. Just briefly reconnect with certainty. Then move forward from a place of relaxed expectation, knowing it's unfolding perfectly. With practice, this state becomes your natural baseline. You become less reactive, more magnetic, and effortlessly aligned. Your reality begins reshaping itself around this state of coherence. Opportunities come to you. Relationships deepen effortlessly. Problems resolve spontaneously because you're no longer pushing from anxiety or desperation. Life mirrors back your relaxed trust. Does this sound revolutionary? It should, because it's radically different from everything you've been taught. Yet it's grounded entirely in quantum reality. Your life truly can become effortless when you understand that your role is simply coherence and surrender. Quantum manifestation is about getting out of your own way and letting infinite intelligence handle the details. So let's ground that shift together right now. Take a moment to comment below. I am ready to manifest backwards. Don't just write it as a formality. Feel it as a declaration. When you type those words and press send, you're sending a vibrational signal to the field that you are ready. You are no longer trapped in the loop of desire. You are stepping into the reality where you are already the version of yourself who receives. This simple act carries more power than you imagine because it comes from coherence, from embodiment, not from need or lack. You didn't land on this video by accident. You were guided here, not by coincidence, but by frequency, a signal from the quantum field that matched a part of you ready to remember. Because deep down, you know manifestation isn't about striving harder. It's about aligning deeper. True quantum manifestation begins when you stop chasing what you want and start embodying the version of you that already lives it. It's not a theory. It's a shift in state. And the moment you invert the manifestation flow, no longer desiring but becoming, the universe shifts its response. You're no longer requesting. You're collapsing timelines. The quantum field does not respond to pressure, effort, or urgency. It responds to coherence. And now you've seen how simple and powerful it is. The more you embody the version of yourself who already has, the faster the quantum responds. That's the real spiritual work. Not in doing more, but in being more aligned. Your dream future isn't something far away. It already exists in the field, and you just tuned into it.
There comes a sacred moment in every life when what once felt distant begins to draw near, when the invisible becomes undeniable, and the shift that once seemed impossible starts to unfold quietly in your favor. You may not see the full picture yet, but something deep within you can already feel it, that inner knowing that whispers, "It has begun." The change didn't start when circumstances moved. It began when you did, when your awareness tilted from fear to faith, from waiting to knowing. Everything visible follows the unseen movement of your inner state. Long before the blessing arrives at your door, it has already been dispatched by your belief. The outer world is just a mirror. What you now see shifting around you is a reflection of what has shifted within you. That is the secret. The power that rearranges your world does not lie in effort or struggle, but in consciousness. The moment you assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, a new reality is born. You are not hoping for change, you are embodying it. The universe has already begun its rearrangement, aligning people, places, and timing to deliver what you've believed. What once resisted you is now working for you. Every closed door was not rejection, but redirection. Every delay was divine synchronization. Do not judge by appearances. The surface may still look still, but beneath it, currents of favor are already in motion. The universe is rearranging itself to honor your new vibration. You've stepped into alignment, and now life must follow. Feel it now, as though everything has already turned. Let your inner conversation echo gratitude, not waiting. Speak as one who already stands in answered prayer. When you declare, "I am favored," the world reshapes itself to mirror your declaration. The evidence may appear slowly, but the transformation is immediate. The unseen has already shifted. The change has already begun. Every moment you hold faith, you accelerate its unfolding. So stand firm, live as though the promise is already fulfilled, because it is. The universe never forgets a belief truly felt. The shift is here, and it is working for you. You are stepping into a chapter where what once resisted now assists, where what once delayed now delivers. You are not entering the season of change. You are the change. Everything is shifting in your favor, and the movement has already started. The unseen realm moves first. Before anything ever appears in your life, it is first conceived in the invisible, in thought, in imagination, in belief. Every transformation, every answered prayer, every breakthrough begins as a silent vibration in the unseen. It is the unseen that governs the seen, the invisible blueprint that dictates the physical form. What the mind consistently holds, the world inevitably reflects. So when we talk about a shift happening in your favor, we are not speaking of something that starts with outer evidence. It begins within you, in your consciousness, in your inner atmosphere, in the unseen movements of faith. You must understand that everything physical is a delayed echo of what has already occurred in the invisible realm. The seed is planted in imagination, watered by emotion, and nourished by belief until it takes form. That is why when you choose to change your thoughts, you are not engaging in wishful thinking, you are engaging in creation itself. The moment you assume something to be true and feel it deeply, you set unseen forces in motion. Circumstances, people, and opportunities begin to rearrange themselves to reflect that new inner state. It may seem invisible, but something is already shifting beyond the surface. Most people wait for proof before they believe. They look for visible signs before giving thanks. But true power lies in reversing the order, in believing before seeing. When you hold an inner knowing, when you see the unseen with the eyes of faith, the outer world must eventually comply. Reality is nothing but the projection of consciousness, and consciousness moves first. You cannot experience what you have not first accepted within. So if life seems quiet right now, do not mistake stillness for inactivity. Beneath the silence, divine orchestration is already at work. The unseen realm is arranging circumstances in your favor. Every prayer, every word of faith, every act of gratitude is forming the unseen pattern that will soon become your visible experience. The delay you perceive is not denial, it is gestation. The invisible is ripening into the visible. And the shift that began in silence will soon speak loudly through manifestation. That is why it is essential to guard your imagination and your inner dialogue. The unseen realm responds not to what you hope for, but to what you feel as real. If you dwell in fear, fear takes form. If you dwell in gratitude, gratitude multiplies. You are constantly sowing seeds into the unseen with your thoughts and emotions. Every word, every assumption is a creative act. So align yourself with what you wish to experience. See it, feel it, and know that it is already done. Everything you desire is already alive in the unseen, waiting for your belief to give it shape. When you align your inner world with faith, the unseen begins to move. And once it moves, the visible world must follow. The shift is already underway, even if your eyes have not yet caught up. Trust the unseen, for it is always the first to move in your favor. Assumption precedes manifestation. Everything that unfolds in your external world is born first in the inner sanctuary of belief. Life is not responding to what you want, but to what you assume to be true about yourself and your reality. Your assumptions, those quiet, consistent inner convictions, are the architects of your experience. Before anything can appear in the physical, it must first be accepted as true in the invisible theater of your mind. The outer world simply mirrors back the images you have already embraced within. When you assume something, you give it permission to exist. Assumption is not idle wishing or passive hope. It is the deliberate act of acceptance. It is the decision to see the end as already accomplished, to feel the fulfillment before it arrives. Every assumption, when sustained, hardens into fact. The conditions of your life, the people you meet, the opportunities you encounter, all are drawn into alignment with the vibration of your inner conviction. You are the living center of creation, and what you accept as real within you becomes the pattern that the world must reproduce. Many people believe that change begins with effort, with action, strategy, or circumstance. But the true seed of transformation is internal. When you shift your assumption, you shift your entire world. You can pray, visualize, and speak affirmations endlessly, but if your underlying assumption remains one of lack or doubt, nothing will change. The universe responds to your deepest knowing, not to your shallow desires. It is your inner yes that summons the visible proof. Every great manifestation begins with a moment of inner surrender, the instant you stop striving and start knowing. You assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and from that state, everything begins to rearrange, the unseen response to your vibration, not your words. You do not wait for evidence. You live from the awareness that it is already done. And in time, the physical world bends to match that certainty. The law is unfailing. What you assume, you become. This assumption is not pretending, it is perceiving from the end. You shift your focus from how things appear to how they are in the unseen. When you occupy the feeling of the fulfilled desire, you broadcast a new frequency, and life echoes it back as circumstance. The moment you believe you are favored, life brings favor. When you assume abundance, abundance begins to flow. When you accept healing, wholeness manifests. The outer world has no choice but to yield to the power of your inner conviction. So guard what you assume about yourself. Every self-concept carries its own destiny. The world does not test your worth, it reflects your belief. You are always creating, not by force, but by assumption. Accept within what you desire without, and it must appear. This is the sacred rhythm of creation. Assumption first, manifestation second. Believe it is done, and the world will rise to prove you right. The old reality is dissolving. What you once saw as delay, disappointment, or even denial was never rejection from life. It was divine rearrangement. The universe has been quietly dismantling what no longer serves your growth, removing the weights that cannot travel with you into your next season. What felt like loss was not punishment, it was preparation. The old patterns, relationships, and opportunities that once fit perfectly are now being released because they no longer match the vibration of who you are becoming. You are evolving, and as you ascend in awareness, everything that cannot sustain your higher purpose begins to fade. This process can feel uncomfortable because the human mind clings to the familiar even when it no longer nourishes the soul. You may look at what's leaving and wonder why, but the unseen intelligence guiding your path knows exactly what it's doing. Every closed door, every unexpected detour, every ending is a part of the sacred transition. The old reality is not being taken from you, it is dissolving because you have outgrown it. The shift is not punishment, but promotion. Life is making room for something higher, greater, and more aligned with your destiny. Think of it like the changing of seasons. Winter must release its grip before spring can bloom. The ground that once seemed barren is preparing to bring forth new life. Similarly, your old experiences, identities, and attachments are melting away so the new can take root. The people who walked away, the opportunities that disappeared, the dreams that didn't unfold as you planned, all of them were part of an old frequency. You cannot carry old energy into a new dimension of purpose. The divine rearrangement is not chaotic, it is precise. The universe never subtracts without intention. What appears to be the breaking down is actually the building up. Behind every ending is a hidden beginning, and behind every disappointment is a doorway to alignment. The old must fall away so that the new can stand. And though it may feel uncertain, trust that this is the necessary clearing before the breakthrough. The unseen realm has already completed what your eyes have yet to see. In truth, the old reality is not dying, it's transforming. You are stepping out of limitation, fear, and repetition into expansion, faith, and flow. The pieces of your life are not falling apart, they are falling into place. Every delay was divine timing, ensuring that what is meant for you arrives when you are ready to hold it. Nothing that belongs to your higher purpose can ever be lost. So let the old dissolve with gratitude. Bless what was, but release it freely. The rearrangement you are witnessing is sacred. It is the universe aligning your life with your truest self. The old is fading not because something went wrong, but because something right is finally unfolding. The past is closing gently, and the new has already begun to rise in its place. Faith is not waiting, it is knowing. It is not the passive hope that something might happen someday. It is the unshakable awareness that it already has. True faith stands in the fulfillment before it appears. It does not plead or beg, it rests. It speaks from the end, not toward it. Faith is the quiet confidence that creation has already responded to your inner conviction, even if your senses have not yet caught up. You do not wait for the shift, you stand in it. You feel the new reality as real, and the universe cannot resist responding to that certainty. Waiting implies distance. It suggests that what you desire is somewhere else, sometime later, dependent on external factors. But faith erases distance. It bridges the unseen and the seen by claiming the end as now. When you truly believe, you no longer look for signs, you become the sign. You live, speak, and move as though your prayer has already been answered. You act from fulfillment, not toward it. This is the creative power of faith. It summons the invisible into visibility. When you stand in faith, you stand in the finished work. You stop trying to make things happen and begin allowing them to unfold. You stop measuring progress by appearances and start measuring it by inner peace. Faith knows that everything is already working together in perfect order, even when the outer world still appears unchanged. The shift has already begun in the unseen. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the laws of creation are set in motion. From that point onward, all of life begins to move in harmony with your belief. Faith is the language of the unseen. It is not something you turn on and off depending on your mood or circumstances. It is a state of being. To walk in faith is to dwell continually in the awareness that what you desire is already yours. It's not about forcing yourself to believe, it's about resting in knowing. You feel the reality inwardly so deeply that the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. Creation obeys the vibration of conviction, not the noise of doubt. When you say, "I know it is done," you activate a frequency that calls forth alignment. People, opportunities, and events begin to appear as if by coincidence, but it is not coincidence. It is creation responding to your inner knowing. The path unfolds naturally because you are no longer pushing against life. You are flowing with it. You are walking in the finished state, and the finished state always reveals itself in perfect time. Faith is not waiting for the evidence. Faith is the evidence. It is the inner realization that compels outer manifestation. When you feel the end as real, creation has no choice but to obey. You do not chase what is already yours. You simply align with it. The moment you know it in spirit, you claim it in reality. That is the power of faith. It does not wait, it knows. Your inner dialogue builds the future. Every thought you think, every word you whisper in the silence of your mind is a seed planted in the soil of consciousness. You are never merely thinking, you are creating. The conversations you hold within yourself are blueprints that shape the structure of your outer world. Long before circumstances change, your self-talk determines their direction. Every time you rehearse fear, you water the roots of doubt. Every time you speak faith, you summon alignment. Life does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you continuously declare to be true within. Your inner speech is the silent architect of destiny. Even when you say nothing aloud, you are always speaking inwardly, to yourself, to your circumstances, and to the unseen forces shaping your life. The tone of that inner conversation determines whether your future blooms or withers. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot dwell in lack and attract abundance. Every inner word carries creative power. The moment you accept an idea as real and repeat it inwardly, it begins to take form in your outer experience. Many people believe they are victims of circumstance, but in truth, they are victims of their own inner dialogue. The mind is constantly recording and replaying stories of who you are, what you deserve, and what is possible for you. If you do not take control of that conversation, it will default to old beliefs and past memories. But the moment you begin to speak consciously within, affirming what you desire as though it is already done, you rewrite the script of your future. The world must echo the frequency of your most dominant inner dialogue. To speak as if it's done is not to pretend, it is to create. When you declare within yourself, "I am favored, I am chosen, everything is working for me," you activate the law of assumption. You align your inner state with the reality you wish to see. The universe, being obedient to the vibration of certainty, begins to rearrange everything to match that truth. Outer change is not a matter of effort, but of consistency. Keep your inner words faithful to your desired outcome, and soon your life will begin to echo them back to you. You know, your inner dialogue is a sacred instrument, the language through which you speak with creation itself. Every affirmation, every inner vision, every quiet word of gratitude becomes a living seed destined to sprout in time. You need not force the growth. You need only guard the garden. Speak life where you once spoke lack. Speak victory where you once rehearsed defeat. Speak peace where you once repeated fear. Life mirrors the tone of your conversation. So pay attention to what you say when no one is listening, for that is the language creation obeys. Speak as if it is done, and soon it will be. Your inner dialogue is not a reflection of the world. It is the command that shapes it. You have entered the season of visible transformation. What was once only a whisper in your spirit, what was once held quietly in the secret place of belief, is now beginning to take form before your eyes. The prayers you once spoke in faith are now gathering substance. The visions you once carried in silence are stepping into visibility. This is not the moment of waiting. This is the moment of unfolding. What began in the invisible realm is now revealing itself through tangible signs, divine alignments, and undeniable breakthroughs. The shift is not coming, it has already begun. For so long, you may have walked through seasons of stillness, wondering if anything was truly changing. It seemed as if heaven was silent and progress distant. But what you could not see was the intricate orchestration taking place beneath the surface. Every quiet act of faith, every moment of surrender, every inner declaration was shaping the unseen foundation of your new reality. Now that hidden work is rising to the surface. What was once concealed is now being revealed. The time of preparation is complete. Manifestation is here. Transformation never announces itself loudly in the beginning. It begins subtly, like the first rays of dawn before sunrise. The atmosphere starts to shift. Conversations change. Opportunities begin to appear. You sense momentum even before you see results. That's how divine timing works. It reveals itself in stages, ensuring that when the blessing arrives, you are ready to sustain it. You are no longer waiting for the right moment. You are the right moment. The world around you is adjusting to match who you have become internally. This is the season where evidence will follow belief. The doors that once seemed sealed are now unlocking effortlessly. The relationships, resources, and opportunities aligned with your higher purpose are finding you. You no longer have to chase what belongs to you. It is drawn to your vibration. The universe is mirroring your inner transformation by rearranging everything in your favor. What once resisted you now assists you because you have changed your inner frequency. You are no longer the person who doubted. You are the one who knows. The beauty of this season is that it carries both reward and responsibility. You are called not just to receive, but to embody the manifestation. Walk as though the promise has already been fulfilled. Speak with the authority of one who has seen the invisible and now watches it unfold. Gratitude is your posture. Faith is your atmosphere. What was once a distant dream is now a living reality because you dared to believe when nothing yet appeared. The shift is already in motion. The unseen work has broken through the surface, and the visible world is catching up with what your spirit has long known. You are standing in the evidence of answered prayer. The transformation is not ahead of you, it is here, alive, unfolding, and accelerating in your favor. The shift is not coming, it has begun. Everything that once seemed distant is now drawing near. You have stepped into a divine flow, where what you once imagined is becoming visible, where what you once hoped for is taking form. The unseen has moved, and the visible is following. Every delay has served a purpose. Every closed door has redirected you toward alignment, and every silent season has built the strength required for your moment of manifestation. You are not waiting for change, you are living in it. This is the hour to walk with confidence, to speak with conviction, and to live as though the promise is already fulfilled, because it is. The shift is not a future event, it is your present reality. The old has dissolved, the new has begun, and everything is aligning in your favor. Stand in gratitude, not anticipation. Speak life, not lack. Believe not because you hope to see, but because you already know. The unseen realm has already completed the work, and the evidence is now unfolding before you. Hold fast to your vision, protect your faith, and remember that what you feel, think, and declare within yourself becomes the script your reality must perform. You are the author of your new chapter, and creation is obeying your faith-filled direction. Walk in joy, walk in peace, and know that everything is working for your highest good. The change is here, and it carries your name. Thank you for listening. May you continue to walk in faith, speak with power, and live in the awareness that the shift has already begun, and it is working in your favor.
Have you ever felt stuck or frustrated with trying too hard to manifest your desires? If your answer is yes, this video is for you. Today we'll explore the idea that you don't have to struggle or stress to create the life you want. Instead, you only need to embrace the understanding that it's already yours. Manifestation often feels like a strenuous task, one that requires immense effort, focus, and constant action. But what if I told you that the most powerful form of manifestation is effortless? It isn't about sitting idly by or being passive. Instead, it's about aligning with the natural flow of the universe. Effortless manifestation occurs when you let go of the need to control every detail. It's about trusting that the universe is working in your favor, even when you can't see the full picture. This doesn't mean you stop taking action, but rather that your actions come from a place of ease and alignment, not struggle and force. Consider the metaphor of a river. When you're in alignment, you're flowing downstream, effortlessly moving towards your desires. But when you try too hard, it's like swimming upstream against the current, expending unnecessary energy. Effortless manifestation is about trusting the flow, knowing that everything is already set in motion. The key to effortless manifestation is embracing the concept that it's already yours. But what does this truly mean? When you understand that everything you desire already exists in some form in the universe, you shift from a mindset of lack to one of abundance. It's not about trying to create something from nothing. It's about allowing what already exists to manifest in your reality. Think of it like planting a seed. When you plant a seed, you don't need to worry or stress about it growing. You trust that with the right conditions, it will naturally sprout and flourish. The same applies to your desires. There are seeds you've already planted in the universe. All you need to do is nurture them with belief, positive energy, and aligned action. Believing that it's already yours means recognizing that the universe is abundant and that there's no need to compete or struggle for what you want. When you release the need to try so hard, you allow the universe to deliver your desires in the most perfect way, often in ways you couldn't have imagined. To fully embrace effortless manifestation, it's crucial to align your mindset and beliefs with the understanding that your desires are already yours. This requires reprogramming any limiting beliefs that might be holding you back. Start by examining your current beliefs around manifestation and abundance. Do you believe that things have to be hard? Do you think you have to struggle to achieve your goals? These beliefs can create resistance and block the flow of manifestation. Shift your mindset to one of ease and flow. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. For example, instead of thinking, I have to work hard to manifest my desires, try thinking, I allow my desires to come to me effortlessly. This subtle shift in language and mindset can make a world of difference. Another powerful practice is visualization. Visualize yourself already living your desired reality. Feel the emotions, the joy and the satisfaction of having what you want. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more real it becomes in your mind, and the easier it becomes to manifest it into your reality. The universe mirrors your beliefs and emotions. If you believe it's already yours, the universe will align to make that your reality. But if you hold on to doubts or fears, you'll manifest those instead. So, choose to believe in the ease and abundance of the universe. Here are some practical techniques for effortless manifestation that you can incorporate into your daily life. Meditation and mindfulness. Take time each day to quiet your mind and connect with your inner self. Meditation helps you release resistance and align with the flow of the universe. In this state of calm, you become a magnet for your desires. Scripting. Write about your desires as if they've already happened. Describe in detail how your life looks, feels, and what you're experiencing. This practice helps solidify the belief that it's already yours. Gratitude. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. By appreciating what you already have, you attract more of it into your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, making manifestation effortless. Letting go. Release the need to control how and when your desires will manifest. Trust that the universe knows the perfect timing. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means surrendering to the flow and trusting the process. Affirmations. Use positive affirmations to reprogram your subconscious mind. Affirmations like, I am a powerful creator. Everything I desire flows to me effortlessly, and I am worthy of all the good things. Reinforce your belief in effortless manifestation. These techniques, when practiced consistently, will help you align with the effortless flow of the universe. Remember, it's not about doing more, it's about aligning more. The more you align, the less effort you need to manifest your desires. Remember that manifestation isn't about trying harder, it's about trusting deeper. It's about knowing that your desires are already yours and allowing them to manifest in their own perfect time. Let's end with some powerful affirmations. I trust the universe to bring my desires to me effortlessly. I am aligned with the flow of abundance and prosperity. Everything I desire is already mine, and I am grateful for it. I let go of all resistance and allow my desires to manifest easily. I am a powerful creator, and I attract all that I need effortlessly. And that's it for the day. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to share your thoughts and insights in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.
There comes a moment in every life where confusion, delay, and uncertainty whisper the lie that nothing is happening. Yet beneath the surface, beyond the appearances, something greater is unfolding. A divine orchestration is already underway on your behalf. Everything is turning in your favor, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because God works through the unseen long before anything becomes visible. Life responds not to the noise of fear, but to the quiet conviction held in the depths of your being. The state you occupy within, the inner feeling you return to again and again, becomes the instruction that the universe must obey. When you dare to assume that things are working out for you, that assumption becomes a command, and the one who created the universe fulfills his commands with precision. What you desire is not random. It is a whisper from God, a signal that the fulfillment already exists within you. The moment you feel the desire, the solution is born. The path is prepared. The way is opened. The invisible machinery of life begins shifting, aligning, and rearranging everything necessary to bring the unseen into the seen. But you must persist, not in struggle, not in force, but in inner acceptance. Your victory is secured the moment you claim it within. The outer world, no matter how stubborn it appears, has no choice but to return the reflection of your inner certainty. Every delay, every detour, every closed door is part of a sacred reorganization that is leading you to the version of life that matches the state you have chosen. This is why you must not panic when things look opposite of what you prayed for. That is often the moment right before the breakthrough, the moment when the old reality collapses to make space for the new. The shaking is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that God is rearranging everything for your good. Stand firm. Hold the feeling of the fulfilled desire. Let the inner conviction become more real to you than any temporary obstacle. The world outside is simply catching up to the truth you already established within. Everything is turning in your favor. Doors you thought were closed will open. People who overlooked you will suddenly recognize you. Opportunities that seemed impossible will enter naturally. Every step you take is guided. Every moment is supported. You are not forgotten. You are not behind, and you are not alone. God is working in ways you cannot yet see. So rise today with confidence, not the confidence of the outer world, but the confidence of one who knows the end is already written. Your blessing is not in the distance. It is unfolding right now. Your breakthrough is not delayed. It is aligning perfectly. And your victory is not uncertain. It is guaranteed. Hold the vision. Trust the process. Rest in the knowing. Everything is turning in your favor. God is working. And your inner assumption is the seed that bends outer circumstances in your favor. Because everything you experience begins first as an invisible state within you. Life is not responding to what you hope for or even what you occasionally think about. It responds to the deep subconscious assumptions you carry. These assumptions act like commands, shaping how you interpret events, how you react, and ultimately how the world mirrors itself back to you. When you hold an assumption long enough, it becomes the lens through which you see life, and life, in turn, complies with that lens. Assumptions are not weak wishes. They are rooted feelings of this is who I am, or this is how life is for me. Once accepted, they no longer feel like thoughts. They feel like truth. And the moment something feels like truth, it begins to shape reality. Just like a seed planted in fertile soil, your assumption is planted in the deeper mind. Quietly, subtly, invisibly, nothing may seem to change at first, but beneath the surface, the conditions begin aligning. People will show up differently. Opportunities you once overlooked will suddenly stand out. Ideas will come to you with clarity. Your emotions will shift. Your decisions will become more aligned. You won't even realize how much your behavior, energy, and perception are being shaped by the new inner belief. This is why the outer world bends, because your inner state moves first, and everything outside eventually must respond. When you assume something long enough, you start acting like it's already done. You think from the state instead of about the state. For example, someone who assumes they are successful doesn't wait for money to feel abundant. They carry an inner security, a quiet confidence, and this confidence influences their actions. Doors open not because they force them, but because their inner certainty creates a vibration of readiness that life recognizes. The world does not change by effort alone. It changes because your assumption determines what you expect, what you accept, and what you allow yourself to experience. When you assume life is working out for you, setbacks lose their power. They stop feeling like endings and start feeling like rearrangements. You walk with a calm sense of direction, even when the path is unclear, because your inner world has already accepted the outcome. Every great shift begins in the unseen. Seeds do not sprout instantly, yet the growth is happening beneath the soil long before it appears above ground. Your assumption works the same way. The moment you plant it, life begins adjusting itself to match. You may not witness the changes immediately, but the process is active. Circumstances will shift. People will change their minds, unexpected help will appear, events will align in ways you could never logically predict. This is why guarding your inner assumptions is so important. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. The true power lies in choosing what you accept is true about yourself and your future. When your inner assumption is in harmony with your desire, the outer world must eventually reflect it. It has no choice. Reality bends to the certainty you hold within. What you deeply accept as true in imagination begins to arrange itself in the seen world. Because imagination is not a place of fantasy, it is the workshop of creation. Every transformation, every breakthrough, every manifestation first takes form in the unseen. When you accept something as true in your inner world, you are shaping the blueprint that your outer world must eventually follow. The imagination is not passive. It is the creative engine of your reality. It is the realm where you plant the patterns that life later expresses in physical form. Most people assume that imagination is separate from reality, something that belongs to daydreams or idle thoughts. But the truth is far more powerful. Your imagination determines what you believe, and what you believe determines what you experience. When you imagine something with conviction and allow it to feel real, you shift your inner state. This acceptance must be deep, not a passing thought, not a hopeful wish, but a quiet inner knowing. It's the moment when you no longer question whether you will receive what you desire because you already possess it in feeling. The mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. When you hold the end result in your imagination long enough, your subconscious accepts it. And once accepted, it becomes a command to the universe. The outer world responds to this command through a chain of events that can seem miraculous. People show up at the right time, opportunities align, inspiration flows, circumstances shift. You are guided toward the very thing you imagined, and the thing you imagined is guided toward you. It is not coincidence. It is the natural unfolding of a reality you formed internally. This is why imagination must be used deliberately. If you imagine worst-case scenarios, you instruct life to fulfill them. If you dwell on fear, lack, or rejection, you embed those states into your subconscious. But when you imagine the fulfilled desire, peacefully, consistently, and with emotional acceptance, you give life a new shape to express. Imagination is the bridge between who you currently are and who you are becoming. When you step into the scene of your desired outcome and feel the joy, relief, or gratitude of it being done, you elevate your state of being. That elevated state influences how you speak, how you move, what you notice, and how you respond. Your actions become aligned without strain. Your energy becomes magnetic without effort, and slowly the world bends. Reality reshuffles itself around your new inner truth. That is why some people appear to be lucky. They have unconsciously accepted good outcomes in their imagination for so long, that life naturally reflects them. What you accept within, you eventually encounter without. Your imagination is not just a tool, it is the birthplace of all future experience. When you choose to accept something as true inwardly, you give it permission to manifest outwardly. Everything begins there. Everything takes shape there. And the moment you claim a new reality in imagination, the seen world begins preparing a path for its arrival. Your desires are divine signals, proof that the outcome already exists within you, because a true desire does not come from lack, but from the deeper part of you that already knows what is possible. Desire is not an accident or a random longing. It is communication from the higher self, from the divine intelligence within, reminding you of what you are meant to experience. The very moment you feel a desire, the fulfillment of it is born in the unseen. You are not longing for something outside of you. You are remembering something that is already yours in potential. Desire is the evidence of the seed. Just as a seed contains the entire blueprint of the tree, your desire contains the blueprint of the manifestation. You would not even be able to conceive the desire if the fulfillment did not already exist on some level of your being. This is why the desire feels alive, why it continues to return, why it refuses to disappear. It is not trying to torture you with what you cannot have. It is trying to show you what is already aligned with your destiny. Many people treat desire as a sign of absence. They believe that wanting something means they are far from it. But the truth is the opposite. You feel desire because the reality of it is already prepared. You sense the next chapter before it arrives. Your inner being pulls you forward by giving you the feeling of longing, an inner echo of the life waiting for you. Desire is a preview of your future, not a reminder of what you lack. If you truly lacked the ability to achieve something, you would not even want it. A fish does not desire to climb mountains. A lion does not desire to swim oceans. They only desire what is natural to their nature. Similarly, the desires placed within you match your spiritual nature, your talents, your path, and your soul's evolution. You desire what is aligned with who you are becoming. This is why you must never feel guilty or ashamed for wanting more. The desire itself is divine. It is God's way of expanding you, guiding you, and directing your growth. When you suppress desire, you suppress the very guidance that was meant to elevate your life. When you accept desire, you step into harmony with your higher purpose. Every desire carries within it the power, the pathway, and the provision for its fulfillment. You are never given a desire without also being given the ability to realize it. The outer conditions do not matter. What matters is the inner recognition that the desire is not a request, it is an announcement. It is your higher self revealing what is already true in the invisible realm, waiting to be expressed in the visible world. So honor your desires. They are not fantasies, they are not selfish. They are not foolish. They are sacred messages. They are inner confirmations that the life you envision is not only possible, it already exists as a finished reality within you. And the moment you accept this truth, you stop chasing your desires and begin aligning with them. You stop forcing and start allowing. You stop doubting and start embodying. Your desires are divine signals. They are proof that the next version of your life is ready. All that is required from you is trust, acceptance, and the courage to believe that what you long for is simply the echo of what is already yours. God works through your inner state, not external conditions. because the true center of creation is not the world you see, but the world you hold within. External circumstances are only reflections, shadows cast by the deeper reality you sustain in your mind and heart. When your inner state changes, life must eventually rearrange itself to reflect that change. Thought does not work through the noise of appearances. He works through the quiet realm of consciousness, where your beliefs, emotions, and assumptions live. This is the place where transformation begins, long before any evidence shows itself. Most people try to fix life from the outside. They try to change situations, control people, or manipulate circumstances, believing that the external world is the cause of their experience. But the external world is only the effect. It is a mirror. It cannot bring you what you have not first accepted internally. God works by shifting your state of being, your sense of identity, your inner certainty, your dominant feeling. Once that inner state is established, the outer world is compelled to reflect it. This is why two people can face the same situation yet experience completely different outcomes. One sees failure, the other sees possibility. One feels defeated, the other feels guided. The situation is identical, but the states are different. And because the states are different, the results are different. God is not limited by the circumstance. He is limited only by the state you choose to occupy. Your inner state is the doorway through which the divine operates. When you hold a state of peace, things begin to align in ways you couldn't orchestrate. When you hold a state of abundance, opportunities appear that were previously invisible. When you hold a state of confidence, doors open because you walk differently, speak differently, and carry a different energy. The outer adjustments seem miraculous, but they are simply the natural response to an inner shift. Even when life looks impossible externally, God is not hindered. He moves through the realm that is untouched by limitation, your inner world. There he plants new convictions, new desires, new visions. There he reshapes your expectations, and as your expectations change, your life changes. External conditions may look stubborn at first, but they cannot resist the power of a fully claimed inner state. This is why prayer, imagination, and belief are so effective. They are tools that alter your inner condition. They elevate your state to match the outcome you seek. Once the inner state is aligned, the outer world must bend. It may take time for the physical rearrangement to unfold, but the moment your inner state shifts, the outcome is already guaranteed. God does not need perfect timing, perfect circumstances, or perfect people to bless you. He needs only your willingness to occupy the state that matches the blessing. The inner state is the signal, the outer world is the echo. When the signal changes, the echo must follow. Everything you desire begins with a shift within. Change the inner state, and the external conditions, no matter how fixed they seem, will eventually transform. God works from the inside out, and once the inside is aligned, the outside cannot remain the same. When you persist in the end, life reorganizes itself to fulfill your inner conviction, because persistence is the act of choosing your reality from within, regardless of what the outer world temporarily shows you. Persistence is not force. It is not struggle. It is the steady decision to remain loyal to the vision you have accepted as true. The inner end you hold, whether it is abundance, healing, love, success, or peace, becomes the blueprint that reality must eventually align with. When you persist, You are declaring that your inner truth is more real to you than current circumstances, and life has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. The outer world is fluid, constantly shifting in response to the states you occupy. When you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you stabilize your inner world. You hold a specific frequency, a specific assumption, a specific identity. This stability sends a clear signal to the universe, and everything around you begins to move in ways that match that signal. Things you once called obstacles begin turning into pathways. People who seemed indifferent suddenly become helpful. Events that once appeared random begin aligning with precision. Persistence is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Many people plant the seed of a desire but uproot it too quickly because they are discouraged by temporary appearances. They look outside, see no immediate evidence, and assume nothing is happening. But persistence understands that everything is happening, even when nothing appears to be happening. The moment you claim the end within, the universe begins its work behind the scenes. Your job is not to monitor the outer world. Your job is to maintain the inner conviction. And when you persist, you dissolve doubt, you silence the old stories that try to pull you back into limitation. You stop negotiating with fear and begin aligning with faith. Persistence makes you unshakable because you are no longer waiting for the world to confirm your desire. You have already accepted it as done within yourself. This inner acceptance is what forces the outer world to reorganize. Life bends to the one who refuses to give up their inner truth, not because they are stubborn, but because they are aligned. Persistence activates spiritual laws that bring forth the exact experiences your inner state demands. It draws resources, ideas, and opportunities into your path. It dissolves barriers that once looked solid. It reveals solutions you couldn't see before. Even the things that appear to go wrong become part of the rearrangement, redirecting you toward the fulfillment of your imagined end. Persistence does not make the journey harder. It makes it inevitable. It signals that you are done wavering between possibilities and have chosen your outcome. And once the choice is made, everything moves to support it. The universe cannot resist the power of a sustained inner conviction. It must reflect what you consistently assume as true. So persist. Not with tension, but with quiet confidence. Stay loyal to the end you have chosen. Feel it, inhabit it, live from it. Let it become your inner home. When you persist in the end, life is compelled to adjust itself in your favor. The pieces will come together. The timing will align. The impossibilities will dissolve. Your inner conviction will carve the path, and the outer world will follow. In the end, everything you seek begins and ends within you. Your assumptions shape your path. Your imagination plants the seeds of your future. Your desires signal what is already yours. And your inner state becomes the channel through which God moves. When you stand firm, in the end, life has no choice but to reorganize itself around your conviction. What once looked impossible begins to unfold naturally. What felt distant begins to move closer. And what you claimed within becomes what you live without. Trust the process, honor the inner guidance, and remain loyal to the vision that has been placed in your heart. Everything is working for your good, and everything is turning in your favor. Thank you.